How often do you make choices not because it's what you want, it's because you fear what someone you love might think about you, or you fear how someone you may love might feel about you? That's a decision based out of fear. Fear versus faith. How does this impact your decision making? That is so key. I'm gonna walk through what I mean by this, but I want you to think about what you do and how much of what you do is impacted based off of your fear of an outcome or your fear of what you might have to face versus the decisions you make because you have faith in what's coming. Fear versus faith. I'm going to explain how this even entered my realm of thinking. Before we get there, let's just think about fear versus faith. How does that impact those 5 F's? How does fear versus faith impact the 5 F's? 5 F's, 5 F's, 5 F's. I'm just doing stupid shit right now. Not even going to lie to you. Playing with the camera. 5 F's. 5. Oh, man. Family, fear versus faith. How many of us literally make decisions based off the fear of what a family member might think of us or how a family member might react? How many? Think about it. Whether that be a mother, let me step back. Whether that be a parent, a significant other, a grandparent, a guardian. From a family perspective, how often do you make choices not because it's what you want, it's because you fear what someone you love might think about you, or you fear how someone you may love might feel about you? That's a decision based out of fear. For example, we make them all the time with our family. Faith, however, how often do you make those decisions in spite of what your family might feel or think about you, but you believe in it so much that you do it anyway? Something to consider. Do you make your decisions based off of fear or faith? What's driving the thought process? Friends, same deal. Peer pressure. A lot of us, for whatever reason, struggle to say no to other people. It's not something I deal with. No. Over and over. No issues. The only issue is hitting this microphone. Sheesh. Let me see my right. All right. Mm-hmm. No. Just for good measure. How often do you give in to peer pressure with friends? Did you make these decisions because you were afraid that your friends might not be your friends or will hold it against you in the future, or you might not get invited to the next event or shindig, whatever the case, right? A lot of us make decisions for friends out of fear that these people won't be our friends any longer. I think that's a silly way to make decisions, if I have to be honest. Friends, that won't matter. Your real friends, your quality friends, should I say. That stuff won't matter. Fear versus faith. Do you make decisions just knowing that your real friends are just one call away, regardless of how often you spoke and what you've done for them lately? They'll answer the phone. They'll be there for you. Those friends who have conditions is similar to a podcast that we spoke about before in terms of what you expect out of a partner. I mean, same with friends. Some of your friends expect too much out of you. They use your emotions to handcuff you, but whether it be friends, family, we allow this to happen. Fear versus faith. Finances. How many of us make so many decisions out of the fear of not having enough money? I see all the hands. The fear of being broke is something I know a lot about from experience. It's not necessarily fun being broke, per se. Part of that is our own doing. How often do you make choices because you're afraid of how money is involved? Finances. Whether you do or don't do something because of the fear of the money, the fear of the lack of the money. This is a real thing. That's family, that's friends, that's finances. Fear versus faith. How many of you make financial decisions because you believe in what you're doing versus making financial decisions because you're afraid of what's to come? There's a difference. Not to say right versus wrong, it's fear versus faith. When it comes to fear versus faith in your freedom, I don't know how many of you have ever had to have a lawyer outside of traffic court. I don't know. But when you say have had to go to court and deal with situations that have an impact on your livelihood, your freedom, fear versus faith is definitely at play there. Beyond that, when it comes to your freedom, do you make decisions because you have faith that you're setting yourself up to exercise your freedom? Or are you living in a way that's like on eggshells because you don't want to ruin or get anything taken away? You're more so fearful of what might come if you pursue something else. Nothing's easy. Fear versus faith, even when it applies to freedom. And when it comes to our future, it's very similar. Are we making decisions that set us up to, are we making decisions driven by our fear of what's coming? Or do we make decisions because we believe in something more? How you perceive your future has such a strong impact on how you approach today. Fear versus faith. When you're stuck in a place of fear, it's hard to move forward. You'll tend to stay right where you are because you're afraid. It's important to challenge yourself in what you're afraid of, because fear and faith have such an impact on how you make decisions, from the smallest to the biggest decisions that you'll ever make. Did you make them because you were afraid, or did you make them because you have confidence and faith in your decision making? This is different.